Alright, so we have a broken side view mirror, and a lot of people look at these and think they can replace one part of this assembly. Well, that's not true. You have to get the whole thing. It's not that expensive, probably $100 or $200 is the most you'll spend on a mirror, and it's the whole assembly, and that's the way they're replaced. So there's usually studs sticking out of the mirror assembly. We're going to take the door panel off to get access to where we plug in and get to these nuts on these studs. We're going to pull this whole assembly off and put the new one on in its place. Okay, there's usually a lot of trim panels that are covering screws. So it's a typical little cover and screw there, missing screw there, and then there'll be some type of fastener along the bottom. So we're going to pull this out and then up, because this part is hooked in, and that'll get us access to this area where the studs for the mirror are at. Let's see what size those are. It's like a, yeah, pretty small hex. This one. You'll know you've got it when you hear the pop. So I'll put this panel popper tool in somewhere where I see a pretty decent little gap, and that's going to pop the panel. So we'll get in here. There we go. So when we pull this up, there's going to be a plug here and a cable onto the latch. So here's the cable to the latch. Here's the plug. We can probably just, in this case, leave this hanging. All the different versions. So this looks like a toggle that locks. There we go. So that'll come off with the mirror, and let me get a light in there. Two, and we'll want to hold the mirror when the mirror is mostly loose. I guess maybe there's a little clip somewhere in the corner. All right, old mirror off. We're ready to install this new mirror. I'm going to start by just putting the plug through, line up my 3 studs, and I'm going to make sure this clip pops in as well. The 3 studs, clip. That's the last one. Okay, so I'll hammer these down. Plugs together. Good. All right, so we're just going to test out that the turn signal and the mirror adjustment function works before sealing this up. Is it working?
Yeah, so let me,
Oh, good. Okay, so in putting the door panel back on, we want to just make sure that everything's connected, so our door handle and plug is still connected. We never disconnected those. We'll get the lock to pop through, and we'll hook the top over the edge of this door. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and look from the side and make sure these guys are lining up. Good. So last step, we put those 2 screws back on. One here. One. And one in here. Good. 2 trim panels. One in here. And one right right there. All right, good. So, okay, so these mirrors are supposed to fold on impact, but sometimes they explode on impact. That's why we replace these. I don't know how many mirrors I've replaced, certainly hundreds, and sometimes the glass explodes and sometimes the back pops or the joint breaks, but in any case they do need to be replaced fairly frequently. Don't put it off. You can't see it all behind you. You can get pulled over. It actually has a signal in it, so this is something to stay on top of just as much as having your headlights working.